What's up, guys? Brent here, back at you today from the Autograph Cave, and I'm back with you today to show you another part of my collection. Last time I was with you guys, I showed you the NBC show The Office and my collection from those cast members. Today I'm going to take it back to the sports world, and I'm going to show you what is right over here to my left, and that is my NFL mini helmet collection. So we're here on quarantine. I'm fresh off of shoulder surgery, but I wanted to make sure I came back to you, and my name is Brent, and this is Collections from the Cave. Let's go! Probably my most favorite helmet in my collection, simply because as a Seahawk fan living in Washington, this guy right now, in my opinion, is the greatest Seahawk that has ever played, and that is NFL Hall of Famer, former wide receiver Steve Largent. Steve is doing a public signing here at a local card shop. I was able to go and nab him. He's got the HOF on there. He was an absolute treasure to meet. Super nice, super awesome, really accommodating to all the fans that were there. There was a really large crowd there for him. So it was really cool to see him and get to talk to him up close and personal, and also have him take the time to do that. So that's piece number one, favorite piece so far in the collection. Piece number two has two individuals on this, both former Seahawk quarterbacks, one of which actually did the signing with Steve. So some of you may be wondering, well, how come you didn't get this individual and Steve on the same helmet? Well, if you're not going to get the whole team on a helmet, there really isn't much value to having two or three guys. You know, certain collectors of certain teams or people might be all for that. But if you're really going for value, it's best to either get a guy by themselves or get a whole team. And this person, to me, wasn't at the level of getting on the same helmet as Steve Largent. So I got him with another quarterback that I had met beforehand. So the first one, and this was the gentleman that did the signing with Steve, former Seahawks quarterback, Redskins head coach, and Seattle Dragons head coach, Jim Zorn. Really like his signature, really fluid. He was really, really nice to meet too, even nicer than Steve, and Steve is really, really nice. He took time to talk with everybody, even swap some stories with some people. Really, really cool guy to meet. The next guy I met at a Sports Authority when he was doing a public signing, and that is former Seahawk quarterback Dave Craig. He did personalize it, so he did put to Brent right there, so that was really cool. But one thing I don't like about this, and some of you guys can see, he really botched his name. He was running pretty close to this little midpoint here in the helmet, and so kind of went over it. So it's like you got a nice fluid signature right here, and then you kind of have this like extra piece that looks like it's kind of all by itself. So wasn't a big fan of that signature, but again, he was a super nice guy, really cool to meet, and two awesome old school helmets in my collection. The next piece, I'll round out the Seahawk collection. I met all three of these guys together. They were doing a food drive at a local car dealership. At the time, they all were still kind of known here in Washington, but they weren't really like national names. So I didn't feel like I wanted to kind of spend the time and energy to get them all separately. So I just brought one helmet with me, and that is the new, kind of the more newer Seahawk helmet. But the first guy, and it's kind of hard to see because it's covered up by the little logo there, is former Seahawk defensive end and now returning Seahawk defensive end, Bruce Irvin. To be honest with you, he seemed like he could care less to be at the signing. Seemed like he was just there to kind of be a part of it and do his duty. So it was kind of a bummer because he was not really all that friendly. The other two gentlemen are on this side of the helmet, and that is former Seahawk tight end Cooper Helfet, who seemed nice, just wasn't really all that talkative, pretty quiet. I think they'd all come from practice, so I get it. They were probably pretty tired. But him and Bruce really didn't fake it all that well. This gentleman here is definitely on the way up as an NFL player, and that is current Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett. I've met Tyler now 2 different times. He is hands down one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I have an autographed 8x10 of him separately, so I kind of have that more valuable piece. So this was a really cool piece to add, kind of have multiple guys. It's something I'm probably going to keep handy, so if for some reason I meet another guy who's kind of on that lower tier of player, I can add him to that helmet and kind of grow that helmet on my own. So that does it for my Seahawks. We're a third of the way home. And now we're going to get into the next 5 helmets I'm going to show you are all helmets that I've purchased in boxes. A lot of companies like TriStar and things like that do these boxes where it's a mystery player. You open up the box, you get one autographed mini helmet from somebody. And so I kind of went on a little streak of buying these. And so I have 5 different ones I'm going to show you here. First one is from the Green Bay Packers, and you can see here by the little Green Bay Packers logo. This is an older player. Played all the way back in the 60s, was voted to the 1960s All-Decade Team, All-American for Penn State in 1962, and was named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2013. And I'm reading that because the beauty of buying these is you oftentimes get these info sheets. And that is former Green Bay Packers linebacker Dave Robinson. He put his number there. Put the HOF on there, another really big get. If anytime you can get a Hall of Famer to put HOF on there, it definitely increases the value of your piece. So that was a really cool get. I didn't really know who he was when I'd gotten him, but then I learned a lot about him because, ironic story, I bought this at a card shop near me and liked it, thought it was cool, went back in a month later to buy another box of that and got him a second time. So in 2 months, I had 2 helmets of his, and fortunately for me, one of my neighbors across the street was a big Packers fan, and so I gave it to him as a gift because I don't need 2 Dave Robinson mini helmets. But cool piece nonetheless. Next guy that I purchased here is another Hall of Famer, this time an Indianapolis Colt. Was named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1972, was named to the NFL 100 team, and recently passed away April 29th of 2019, and that is former Colts defensive end Gino Marchetti. He also put Hall of Fame on there, which is really cool. Let me try to get a good little view of that signature. One thing here, and I'll show him, and then I'll show Dave kind of side by side. These older guys really know how to sign. You look at some of these newer players, and their signatures are sloppy. But these older guys really take their time, and it's like really nice cursive and really easy to read. So I kind of dig the older feel on some of those guys. So 2 cool pieces, guys that I didn't know. Hall of Famers, though. That gives me so far 3 Hall of Famers in my collection. There are more to come. And so it was a cool piece nonetheless. And came with a TriStar certificate of authenticity and another info sheet as well. Another piece that I got, which I was kind of excited about, was this little piece. And I, like it because I love the Buffalo Bills red helmet. I thought that's a really cool touch. It kind of breaks up the navy blue and white and silver color scheme that I have going on with all the Seahawks and Colts. And that is NFL Hall of Famer, former wide receiver, Andre Reed. As you can see there, again, what I was talking about, newer guys, even guys from the 90s, their signature not as pristine as those guys from the 60s and 70s. But Andre put Hall of Fame in there, which is freaking cool. And being a kid that grew up in the 90s, I continually watched the underdog Buffalo Bills get bounced by the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And so I knew all about Andre Reed and Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith, and I thought that was really cool as a kid from the 90s to get Andre Reed on a red Buffalo Bills helmet. So that was really cool too. This next one is actually a collegiate helmet. I thought it was kind of cool that I got that, and that is the former University of Texas quarterback, national champion, and a brief stint in the NFL, Mr. Vince Young. Show you a signature here. Would have liked to have maybe seen like a bronze or gold color Sharpie just to kind of have a match to the Texas Longhorn kind of rust orange, but not a bad piece. I like it more for the helmet than the person. I'll be honest, this is kind of the helmet that maybe disappointed me the most, because even though he was known collegiately, he was not known professionally. It'd be like the equivalent of pulling an Ed O'Bannon autograph card for an NBA fan. It's like, yay, or Christian Laettner, like, okay, he was better off when he was 19 or 20 than he was as a pro. But I love the Texas Longhorn helmet, so I thought that was cool to add a collegiate helmet to my collection. 2 more to go. 2 pretty prominent players, so I'm excited about that. This one, again, was the last of my purchases, and that is from the Houston Texans, current NFL star, Mr. Deshaun Watson. Again, talking about the younger guys, Deshaun Watson, written in like 5 letters. So pretty small signature, pretty basic and rushed. But he was just kind of on the come up when I got this. He was like a budding star in the NFL, really getting his foot in the door in terms of name recognition. So I was really psyched when I got this because I kind of put him just below the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson tier in terms of like the future of the NFL. He's right there with them. So I was really excited about that piece. The Texans helmet's just cool too. I love the kind of like longhorn steed bull type image they have there. So I was really excited for that piece. This brings me to my last piece in the collection, and I actually won this piece. A card shop that I used to frequent used to do this thing called Pack Wars, and what they would do is there would be trivia questions you could answer, there'd be games you would play with opening up packs and, find me the player with the most points per game if it was a basketball pack, or find me the guy with the most RBIs if it was a baseball pack. And as you win these little rounds of war, you get raffle tickets for prizes later on in the night, and I got one of the raffle tickets and I won one of these prizes, and I get handed this cool little NFL Hall of Fame football helmet, and as I turn it around I see that it is one Mr. Joe Montana. There is his signature right there. Get that nice and close to the camera. Again, as a kid in the 90s, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, even though I was a Seahawks fan, these guys were number two. I loved watching the 49ers. I rooted for them when I wasn't rooting for the Seahawks just because I dug Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. So I was really, really excited to get that. Again, I'll show another close-up there of the signature. Kind of a sloppy signature. And I'll tell you one thing that kind of bums me out about this one is they were very open with me and told me that they had that piece given to them, and so there was no certificate of authenticity. And that's always kind of the risk you play when you're, getting something like, say, in a trivia contest or something like that. Unless you know the person really well, or unless you really feel like you trust the people, it's really hard to know if what you're getting is authentic. This is a legit dealership, so I take them at their word. I'd love to have a certificate of authenticity to it just because it's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and it'd be really great to say it was authentic. But I'm a person of trust, and I trust that what I have there is authentic. And so, yeah, when people ask me like, hey, what's one of the biggest names in your piece? I can bust out Joe Montana and show that off a little bit. And so that's pretty cool. So that is going to do it for my collection. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. You're going to definitely see me around this channel and on the Autograph Cave. So please don't forget to like this post. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified when we post in the future. Follow us on our Facebook page. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Twitter. We got a lot of new content coming your guys' way, and we're really excited to get more of the community involved. So thanks again for watching. I'm Brent, and this has been another episode of Collections from the Cave, and we will see you later.